the sports teams that exist. Certain countries have a big one or two, but we're proud to say our podcast is about the biggest team in the entire world.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
Yeah! This is the World's Team Podcast. All about the world's team, the Dallas Cowboys, baby. We're here to redefine what it means to be a fan of the gridiron game. It's not just America's team anymore. Nope. We're taking that star-studded pride and spreading it across the globe. Each week, we dive into all things Cowboys. From game analysis that'll have you on the edge of your seat, to reactions and all the latest news. Whether it's free agency frenzy, draft day drama, or injury reports that make us want to hug our lucky jerseys a little tighter. We're bringing in fan groups from all over the place, from Germany, France, Brazil, the UK, Canada, Japan. Everybody gets to share their 2 cents on America's favorite team.
And here we go!
America's team, Mexico's team, world's team, my Dallas Cowboys!
And now your hosts, Paul Stewart and Mike Poland.
Hello, Cowboys Nation. Welcome to another episode of the World's Team. Remember, it's not just America's team. It is the World's Team. I am your host, Paul Stewart, and I am joined as always by my brother in arms. You can find him on bloggingtheboys.com. It's no other than Mr. Mike Poland. How are we doing, brother?
Yeah, good. And still trying to catch up on lost sleep. We've had what? Let's try and figure it out. We've had about 10 hours sleep in 4 days. With everything else, other shows, couple that didn't pan out, unfortunately, plus all the articles and everything else. And you're just like, today, I've been seeing spots.
A little bit of blanked out moments, have we?
Yeah, it's got to the point where you're like, I'm asking other people, I'm like, can you check what I've written? Can you check it makes sense?
I'm kind of like that in my day job, to be honest, mate. Like, my first
make sense.
Yeah, I'm trying to ask questions. Am I talking sense here? My boss is like, "Ah, you're a wee bit do-wally. Are you all right?" I'm like, and I told him what happened. He's like, all right, okay.
I get it.
He's just like, oh, football stuff. I get it. You know?
Yeah. Hard work.
But yes, folks, finally, the NFL Draft is done. We are across the finish line, finally. So the Dallas Cowboys made all their draft picks. There was one trade involved. We made some undrafted free agent signings as well. So here today, we are going to break down our draft picks and kind of give like a overall assessment and grade on each of those picks and overall. So first of all, Mike, pick number 12, Mr. Tyler Booker from Alabama.
So, for disclosure, anyone who didn't watch the live show in the week, Paul had a slightly hot reaction to this pick, shall we say?
Initially, yes.
We talked you down off the ledge.
No, well, I think it was more the fact when I had a bit of sleep and think logically behind the pick.
Yeah,
it made me feel a lot better about it. A hell of a lot better, if I'll be perfectly honest. But initially, my heart and soul was Ted McMillan, no matter what, or wide receiver or running back. That was my, and I guess I kind of fell into the loophole of your mainstream media NFL analysts saying, oh, we should do this and should do that. But no, I should actually just stuck to my gut and instinct and say, okay, what is the biggest need? O-line is one of the biggest needs. And what way to do that was get the best guard in this year's draft.
Yeah, I mean, look, not just offensive line. Run blocking was an issue last year, mostly because we had so many different line combinations throughout the year because of injuries. But regardless, still, you go back and you look and you go, right, run blocking's and what I tend to lean towards more when we talk about the issues of the run blocking with Dallas was at the start of the season, especially while Dak was in there. You look at while Dak was in, the offensive line had so many issues trying to establish the run. They just could not do it. They couldn't get there. I mean, this pick, I mean, all right, we lose Zach Martin. That is a big issue. But
Yep.
you take a guy like Tyler Booker, and I had a video on my Twitter that's gone insanely viral at the moment of Tyler Booker's blocking, and basically it's Jalen Milroe running behind him.
Yeah.
And I know some of it, reading between the lines, people are like, well, Dak doesn't run the football. It's like, okay, yeah. But what it's more attesting to is his ability to carve out holes, not just initially at the line of scrimmage. He can get into the next level, get to those linebackers and clear them out.
I mean, I guess that was my only criticism in some way for Tyler Booker. He probably had one of the worst RAS scores for coming out the combine. But when you look at the game film over and over again, it's like, and compared it to the combine, it just seems night and day difference. So I don't know if the combine was quite an off day, but we do know though, Mike, the interview process was fantastic for Tyler Booker.
Yeah. I mean, like, look.
He impressed a lot of people. Right? So just to put this in perspective, so the whole trade scenario, like obviously we all know, like if Ted McMillan was gone, we were going to explore our options. Mm-hmm. And one of those options was the Houston Texans willing to come up from 25 to 12. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there was no deal included. But the rumor is that the Texans were willing to move up all the way to 12 to get Tyler Booker themselves.
Yeah. I mean, that is a big trade. And if they're like, well, who's going to be available to us at 25? And all the guys that they wanted, who they were just like completely sold on, they feel that all those guys are going to be gone by pick 25, then the trade becomes worthless because it's just like, well, who are we taking? Well, whatever, whoever. That's not a plan. This pick, by sticking and taking Booker, feels like a plan, especially once we go through now the rest of the draft and how certain parts of it fit. Now you can see a plan coming together. The sequencing made sense. And also the other picks that all fall into place. And you go, that was the plan.
Yeah, there was a plan and there was a theme behind this draft. This draft process. 100%. I totally 100%. Agree with you. I mean, the one thing it got me even more buzzing about Tyler Booker was he was on the Gridiron interview with Michael Parsons, and he says like, it's like football is like playing like kids play. Like kids like get so excited. I love playing football, blah blah blah. And until they meet Tyler Booker, it's like you see the love of football going away from their eyes, and that's what I'm willing to do. And even for me, I got absolutely pumped up even before Micah Parsons reacted. I was like, "Oh, give me something!" Yeah, that's the attitude I want in that O-line. And just to kind of add what you're saying, and this kind of goes to the theme we're about to say, Tyler Booker is a leader in Alabama, right? He has like those leadership qualities. Like I know we're talking about like maybe like a Tyler Smith and see the guy. I know like Booker is just a rookie, but he can come on board and actually bring that tenaciousness of leadership to that O-line to really sort it out.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, like because when you think about it, Mike, like Tyler Guyton, obviously, like we don't know if he's going to play on the left or play on the right. If he's playing on the right, is Smith going on to the left tackle? Then Booker playing on left guard, and that leaves a spot for like some Brock Hoffman on right guard. So we need to figure.
There's options. There's options there.
There's plenty of options here for sure, but I think the thing is that either way, it's like the interior is strengthened up significantly.
Oh yeah.
Like even if you push Tyler Smith out to left tackle, which I don't think is a good idea. I don't like. I'm happy keeping Tyler Smith at left guard, and put Tyler Booker at right guard. I really want to enforce the interior. So with the combination of Tyler Smith, Tyler Booker, and Cooper Beebe in that interior, those A gaps are gonna be money. And, and when we connect the dots with what we also have done in the draft, it makes sense. It makes so much sense.
Really, this all boils down to now, we get to training camp. They get to tinker around with things. What this battle of the offensive line comes down to now is it's not a battle between Hoffman and Booker, and it's not a battle between Guyton and Steele. What I think the battle is right now is between Hoffman and Steele, not for the right tackle position, but who's better? Who's better at their position? Because then that gives you your best starting five. And depending how that goes, if Hoffman's better than Steele, the line all shifts and changes, and we'll see a complete change around.
I still think the starting lineup is still going to be Guyton, Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, Tyler Booker, and Terrence Steele. I think that's still
makes
going
the
to
most sense.
It makes the most sense. And but even with that, when you've got like a Hoffman, TG Bass, and like a Charles and all the other and Cornelius, etc., like we've got valuable backups now. Like we've actually strengthened the backup positions, like even as well. So we've took a good step, because the one thing we had previously before with the Dallas Cowboys is what there was a drop-off point when Tyron Smith was off. There was a big drop-off, but whereas here, I think we've closed the gap now in terms of if someone was to go out, there's going to be maybe a slight dip in terms of productivity from one of these players, depending on the position and stuff like that. But it's not as significant anymore, and we can still keep the train moving, per se, keep the ball moving those extra yards up the field.
Yeah, I think what we saw last year, when depth on the offensive line was seriously tested because of injuries, they've gone overboard this year, and we'll talk about it more, but they've really gone after offensive linemen with what they've done, because they've got so much depth. But with depth, it's not, for me, it's not so much with depth. You're like, oh, we've got plenty of depth for injuries now. No, what we're looking at this stage now is competition, because there's so many numbers.
Yes.
Like what you're hoping is so many boats in the water will make that tide rise.
And this is perfect for our offensive line coach, Conor Riley, and our offensive coordinator, Clayton Adams, who also was a former offensive line coach as well. So you're going into with a blank canvas. It's like, all right, guys, we'll see what you're made of. I want the 5 best guys compete.
I'm looking at it now.
I love
16 offensive linemen on this roster right now.
I think we're definitely going to be, I would say we're going to keep up at 12, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, it all depends.
11, I would say 10 minimum, 12 most. Just in case.
You've got Big Earl Bostic.
Yep.
But then there's that battle with Nathan Thomas and Dakota Shepley. Dakota Shepley's obviously inside guy, but I mean for a roster position.
Yeah.
These are the things we need to be looking at. I like Shepley. I mean, we've got to speak to Shepley, and he's a very cool dude.
Massive car enthusiast, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So, lovely gentleman. And I like it's going to, like, for the likes of Dakota, it's going to be really tough for him to really compete. Like he's going to compete, but now that we've brought in extra reinforcements to the group, per se, is going to increase, like, the chances of him making it into this year's roster is going to be a little bit slimmer. So
definitely.
But again,
and he's not one of their guys. He's not one of the, because like he's not been drafted. He was one of those guys who was on the roster when Shotty already got you. He's there, and it's kind of like, oof, this is tough, mate. We'll have to chat to him. We need to chat to him.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But but I'm rooting for Shepley, man. Like I think he's a great guy, like really great mindset, and he's a good, like, if I have any like recommendations for cars to get, at least I know who to ask.
And he's a brilliant superhero villain.
That's right. He was what was he in again?
Deadpool.
That's right. He was in Deadpool. He played one of the villains, didn't he?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
as an extra, like an extra
That's right.
villain.
Like over there doing stuff. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Tyler Booker, pick number 12. So give me your grade for Tyler Booker, Mike.
For me, because Zach Martin's gone, we need to do something, but it's the high character, leadership, bulldozing mentality, and also the fact that he's going to be a guy who I think is going to lead that offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it needs. It needs that now Zach Martin's gone. How you cannot give this an A- at this stage is beyond. I gave it a B+ initially when it first came out, and I'm like, nah. When you step back and you kind of step outside the circle and look back in, and you look at it and you listen to the things Booker said in his, and you mentioned it in his interviews and press conferences, I'm like, that's a dog. That's a dude. That's an A- for me.
And ultra professional as well.
Yeah.
For me, mate, like I'll probably stick to a B+. Just but then again, the reason why I'm saying B+, it was just because of where we picked him more than anything.
I get that.
That's the only reason. Just like if we were maybe like a couple of places back, like see where we're 16th or something like that would have been an A+ for me. I'm sorry, that would have been a like that. But then again, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, mate. I'm going to go with an A-.
A-.
I'm going to go, yeah, A-. Like just purely because of the need, the temperament, the attitude, what he can do in the field. Like
0 sacks in the SEC last year.
One of the most competitive leagues in college, 100%.
Especially in the trenches.
Absolutely. Yep, I totally agree with you. Okay, moving on to our second round pick. This is by far my favorite, Mike. By far my favorite, and
It was funny, right, Paul? Is when this pick came in. You know, like initially we had mixed reactions with Booker. There was no mixed reactions on this one.
It was like, oh, it's like no way. It was like it was a surprise, but I think the way was like, oh, we went defensive end. Wait, hold on a minute. This guy's an absolute dog. And who we're referring to is Donovan Isaraku. I think, is that how you pronounce it? You got it. Oh, my God. I got it spot on. My goodness. I've actually got a name right. So Donovan Isaraku from Boston College. He was a second round pick at pick number 44?
Yes. Yeah.
Pick 44. I'm trying to remember the numbers of the picks, but hopefully you'll keep me right on that then, Mike. But yeah, Mike, break down Donovan's statistics.
I mean, it's wild. This is a guy who you go 80 total tackles and you go, oh, wow. And then you go,
defensive lineman, 80 plus tackles. That's like, ridiculous.
You go, that's a linebacker. And then you go, and you go, but wait. And then you go, no, he has 21 tackles for a loss. And then he has 17 sacks. And and all of this was leading the conference. And he gets Defensive Player of the Year. And then you throw in the other awards he has. And he's All-America. And he's from Boston College. You're like, this guy is insane. He has linebacker stats with defensive end stats. And this dude is on this team. High motor guy. Yeah. You talk about, and we talked about theme, right, Paul?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The theme shows itself again. That a guy with those statistics, just like Booker, who has very few sacks and pressures allowed, Isaraku has all of the statistics you want in a defend. And you go, that's high character guys who are staying in the office, working in the gym, and are willing to put in the effort. And then you go, yeah, he was also the captain of his team, just like Booker was. And you go, there is the theme. Blue collar, captain, leader of the team, leader of the position. And you go, here we go. This is now we're seeing to something develop. When this pick came in, I mean, if this
We
was
both
like,
reacted like, wow,
yeah,
holy crap. We went
Um,
defensive end, but it was like who we picked, and it was
Mm.
Donovan Izaraku.
yeah,
Like, to me, and the one thing I love about Donovan is when I was watching this game film, is his ability to bend round
it
the
was
edge.
insanely bad.
It's ridiculous. Like, can you imagine with him, Donovan Izaraku, and Micah Parsons at each side?
How do you
But
stop? What are you doing to stop that?
it's got me excited for the defense. Put it that way. Don't get me wrong, we've got problems with stopping the run, but when it
Yeah,
comes to the pass rush, it has went up a notch by 5. It has went up a notch by a lot.
yeah. I mean, like, I mean, put it this way, right? You're just saying that him and Micah Parsons together. You go, whew. We still don't know what we're getting in Sam Williams. He's coming back.
Mhm.
I mean, we've spoken to the dude many times. The
Yeah.
most positive, happiest guy you'll ever meet. But you think if we get that guy we saw who's explosive off the line, just like thunders down the field with Sam Williams, you go, whoo. And you go, but wait, don't forget, the Cowboys also added Dante Fowler in free
Uh-huh.
agency. So you have this insane mix
Don't
of
forget Marshawn
defense.
Nealand.
Marshall Neal on the other side, very much a run-stopping type defense.
Yeah.
Brilliant at setting the edge.
Yeah. So this is the interesting part, right? So we've now got Fowler, Parsons,
Yeah.
Izaraku,
Mhm.
and Sam Williams. 4 like really decent edge rushers to really get to the quarterback. But when you can mix in the likes of like Marshawn Nealand in there, we've now got a nice mix up of where we can
Different guys you can play.
exactly like we can be very situational in certain
Oh, yeah.
areas now.
Yeah.
So it's a fantastic pick from the Dallas Cowboys. Will McClay did a great job on this one.
Yeah. And just to add, you said you watched the tape on his bend. I mean, the big one for me on bend, on how certainly for defensive ends, there's a nice sort of test, if you like, of their end. It's the 3-cone drill. Love the 3-cone drill for defensive ends. This dude ran a 6.94 3-cone. That's a defensive end. 91st percentile. I know.
It just makes you wonder why he was not drafted higher. Is it maybe because of the college he was at, or is it the competition, etc.?
I just think when you look at all the other picks, all these other teams were just like, right, this is what we're doing. If he's available, there was a lot in the first round, especially of this is who we're taking. This is going to be our guy. There was a lot of that. So a lot of these guys, like Izaraku, just completely fell out of the first and into the second. He was just there, waiting.
He was there for the taking. Like, I mean, we did kind of slightly mention this with Donovan. This that would be quite a nice surprise. But you didn't expect the Cowboys to actually pull the trigger on it. We didn't expect that, and that's why we're like, wow, holy crap, we did do it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And what's funny is we was on Nick's show talking about different situations of the draft, and we brought up defensive end, and we were like, these are some guys. We were like, well, guys, what about defensive end? And everyone was like, do you know what? We didn't think about that. And then the discussion turned to that. Izaraku was the name that people said. They were like, that would be a nice pickup. And you're like, you gotta keep your options open. If it falls and it happens, that would be great.
Don't forget, like one of the early mock drafts we did, not for the world's team. I believe it was for the UK Cowboys when we did that.
Yeah.
We picked Donovan at 44. We did. We did do that.
In fact, I'll have to try and find it.
Yeah, and I mean it was a long while ago. I can't remember who we picked first. I think it might have been Golden or it might have been McMillan. It might have been actually been Genty for all we know at the time.
I think it was. I think we picked Genty because we were just like, let's start off on the right foot.
Yeah.
We didn't want to rock the boat too early.
Well, I think this might be the easiest grading to do.
Oh, yeah. I'll let you go first.
This is a solid A+ in my opinion. Like it's I'm just so excited for this one. I really am, Mike. His ability is like his arm reach as well. Like he's very long for a defensive end. His ability to get off blocks as well, and for speed he's got as well. Oh my goodness! Like
82.5-inch wingspan.
Yeah, like that's like almost the same. Like maybe not as long as John Jones, the UFC heavyweight fighter, but it's still a long reach. It's enough to like stop getting. It's enough to get offensive linemen off your chest plate. Put it that way. So, but
yeah,
Mike,
I mean, it's a hell of a pick. I'm with you. I'm A plus. If there was like an A plus plus, like of all the picks, this is the best one. This for me is the best one in terms of value, in terms of skill set, and in terms as well of not just character and leadership, but 0 red flags.
Yes.
There's nothing there. This is the cleanest player that you've got.
Yes. So moving on to round number 3, a pick 76. The Dallas Cowboys selects Shavon Ravel Jr. from East Carolina. A guy we talked about a lot.
Yeah.
Very talented. Had a first round grade on him. But our issue was the injury. And that's why this is why he fell into the further. Like, and here's the thing though, mate. Like, if you remember, our good friend Kyle Yeomans from DallasCowboys.com, he posted a tweet for watch out for these guys for round number 2. Revel was one of those guys for round 2. So, and I was thinking, it's like I don't feel comfortable picking him in the second round because of what we've done in the past, like so Jalen Smith and like players with a red flag with injury. I don't want to go through that whole scenario again.
Yeah.
Like with the third round, I feel a lot more comfortable with it because it's more lower risk, higher reward in that scenario with a third round pick. So for me, I think this is a great pick, but obviously we need to wait and see how it pans out because, like we said, Shavon Revel is a first round talent, despite how much football he's missed out.
Yeah. So his 2023 season, unbelievable. You know me, I'm always a year ahead. So like I've got about 90 odd players on my draft board for 2026. And it's like, yeah, okay. But like Revel, when he was on there and I was on my list, he was about on my board because after his 23 season, he was on my board and I had a look. Something like 22nd on there because his season was that phenomenal. It was outstanding. The dude just bossed it. You could see. And what I like, 6'2", but when he's standing there, you see his arms, his hands go down to his knees. I mean, that's just length and range that is just elite at a cornerback level. No surprise, he's just batting balls away, getting interceptions. Even in 2024, before the injury, he plays 3 games, has 3 pass deflections, has 3 interceptions, and 2 interceptions. And 1 pick 6. That was in 3 games. Then obviously he goes
with the ACL injury.
In practice, and the season's over. My biggest problem with this, I'm glad that they didn't do this in the second round because that's very much a typical second round thing that they do. Go for the injury upside guy because he was a first round guy. My issue with it is not even the ACL. By the way, they've already put him on PUP, just so you're aware.
All right, okay.
He's already on PUP. I think he will be moved off PUP once they get
more diagnosis.
And they get to California and he's doing some work in training camp at Oxnard, and then I think they'll move him off because he'd be ready to play, and then the buzz will really kick in. But my issue isn't so much the ACL. My issue isn't even that the Cowboys have injuries at cornerback. It's the 2 combined. When you have an injured cornerback come into a group of injured players, you're just like, okay, so what's the plan if Trayvon Diggs isn't ready? And what's the plan if Shavon Revel has a setback and he's not ready. What is that? Who's playing slot corner and who's playing opposite Bland? Because right now, Mukwamu's going to be playing slot corner and we've got nobody on the other side.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's the apprehension.
I would say that's the concern rather than apprehension, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ifs. There's a lot of ifs where it comes to it.
There's a lot of moving parts there that can go wrong.
But when things do start to kind of come more back into our favor, when players are fully fit, then fantastic. It's going to be all guns blazing going forward. So, but yeah, like from reading from all the articles from ESPN, they're really think this has been one of the steals of the draft, despite the injury.
I get it. That.
Yeah.
I get
so
it.
I totally get it. So, but hit me with the grade for Siobhan Ravel.
For me, one of the Cowboys' biggest needs was cornerback. They've taken a cornerback. Good. They didn't get an injury-prone guy in the second. That's another tick in the box. But he's not so much injury-prone. He's only had one full season in college. That's an issue for me. But saying that, his one season where it was elite. It was, you're looking at, and he's done it, he was doing it against top competition, against some really good wide receivers he was doing this against. Yeah. So that's impressive. So that raises the bar up. But for me, purely because until I see him fully healthy, I'm a little bit nervous with the pick. So it's just a B for me.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. A B for me. It's just purely because of the question mark factors. Like, it's coming into a team where we've got injuries already in place. How quickly is he going to be ready? Like, is he going to be this? Like, I suppose the upside is the ACL. It's not like one of those. When it comes to ACLs, once you've done it once and it's been rebuilt, it seems to be, it always kind of remains intact till the rest of your career. It doesn't really tend to snap again. Like what I mean by that, like when you take DeMarvion Overshawn, for example, like it wasn't the same leg, it was the different leg. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and when it came to the likes of Jalen Smith, like he never had any issues after his injury. Like,
yeah, so, I get what you're saying. I know where you're going, but then we can turn that back though, and say, but we had LVE and we had Sean Lee.
That's very true. Different complete injuries though. That was more neck for sure.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I'm just saying though. But for me, right, okay, it's a very, very stupid comment what I'm about to say. All right, this for me, it's a B grade on the surface level of what it is right now. But by the time we get, if we get to past training camp and we get into the season and the dude is completely out of the woods with this injury and we get in the Siobhan Revel of 2023, it's a pure A plus because of the value and all the rest of it. Right now, though, I can only scout and grade on what I can see, and what I can see right now is a guy who's injured, going on PUP, coming into a group that's injured.
Yeah, no, that's a fair assessment, man, and I totally agree with you on that. Okay, so with our next pick and round number 5, obviously we didn't have a 4th round pick because obviously we traded for Jonathan Mingo. We'll talk about that in a second. But in round number 5 at pick 149, the Dallas Cowboys have selected running back from Texas, Jaden Blue.
Yeah, you actually missed this one because you had to go to other things when this pick came in. So when you came back, you actually came back to 2 draft picks, but we'll talk about the end of it. You came back, you're like, ooh, and so we had a lot to talk about. Jaden Blue, I mean, the good thing is we took a running back. A lot of people are like, ooh, when are we going to get one? We finally took one. It was all running back 3. Thing, but just this group was just so deep, and by the time we got to the draft to Cowboys, this 5th round draft pick for the Cowboys, there was still so many names on the board. You were just like, oh my god, you played it smart here because there were so many names to play with.
Oh,
Go on.
I was just going to say, like, there was quite a few running backs there available, and I was like, maybe this could be one. But Jaden Blue, I'll be perfectly honest, was not one of the ones I expected.
No.
But when you look at the statistics and what Schottenheimer is looking to do, he got 42 passes for 368 yards and scored 6 times. And obviously, he rushed over 730 yards under 134 carries. So it's bringing mixture. We're utilizing running backs in the passing game as well. And he does that.
Yeah, that. But what I like is when you watch the tape, explosive. Very Dalvin Cook-ish, right? In terms of he's gone 0 to 60 in just like as fast as you can get. Dalvin Cook speed, and then he's gone. He's fast. We're talking 4.3 speed here. We talked about seeing a pattern emerging in this draft. You go, let's take this dynamic run blocking inside guard on the first day. And what we're going to do is we're going to plonk that in front of one of the most explosive and fastest running backs in this class. Now you see the connection and you see how it's all interlinking, and you go, this is the plan. You are sticking to your board, and I like it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There's been no diverting at all. There's been none of that.
Yeah.
Like after kind of re-looking over Jaden's game film and what we did to bring to the offensive line with Tyler Booker, it makes so much sense. What we're trying to do is try and take the pressure of CeeDee Lamb per se as well, take the pressure of Dak Prescott and really reinforce of bringing smash mouth football back to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah,
and I love it. I love to me, it feels like we're going back to 2014 all over again, where we had the Great Wall of Dallas 2.0 with Martin, Tyron Smith, and Ezekiel Elliott in his rookie season. It kind of feels like we're having that burst again, and
that fire up front for sure. Yeah,
and even when we had DeMarco Murray under Tony Romo,
I was about to say.
Yeah, and even Darren McFadden, our O-line was brilliant. Our run game was exceptional.
Yeah.
We had a good 4 to 5 years of exceptional run game with Zeke, DeMarco Murray, and with Darren McFadden. So
an aging run DMC as well.
Exactly.
Who got 1,000 yards.
Yeah, absolutely. And
here's the thing, right, Paul? Add that speed to what you're hoping. You're very, very much hoping you're going to get back with Javonte Williams. So you have Javonte Williams, who's the hammer, and then you'll have Jaden Blue, who's the nail.
Yeah. And not to mention that obviously we'll talk about the later picks as well, but what we're doing right now, we're bringing a lot of 1-2 combinations, and which is looking to be a running back by committee, but it's going to be
most sense of the word, yeah.
And the most sensible way of doing things. We're not like deviating like, oh, this is our RB1 no matter what, despite how they might be poorly be playing. And this is no disrespect to Ezekiel Elliott. Like, he came in last year, like, kind of like trying to still be the RB1. It just didn't work out. It just wasn't the same.
And they kind of forced it for too long too.
They forced it too long. And since we switched it up to more making Rico Dowdle the RB1, make it more part of the committee way of doing things, things start to click a bit better. So I think that's definitely a learning curve for what we're doing, especially with the type of offense that Schottenheimer is looking to bring together for this upcoming season. Again, I'm excited for it. So, but yeah, Mike, for this grade on Jaden Blue, I'm going to give it a B+.
Yeah, you're a little higher than I'm going to give it a B minus, only because there were other running backs on the board that I had at the time when that pick was taken higher than Blue. Not many. There was only, I think, 2.
Crap, I didn't even think about that. You know what? I'm going to change my grade. I'm going to go with a B.
Okay. Yeah, so we're not that far off.
Just a straight up B then, because
Yeah.
you're right. I can't remember what running backs were available at the
I'm
time.
trying to think now.
Uh,
There was 2 available. I know there was 2.
Devin Neal was
Devin
available.
Neal was definitely one.
That would have been an A plus for me if it was Devin Neal. Was DJ Giddens available?
He was, but I didn't have him higher. I tell you what, I'll have a look because otherwise it's going to really bug me. And I'll go through my my list.
There was, oh God, who else was there?
I tell you now. I'm just logging into my. Oh, sorry. I've gone to my mock drafts. Oh, now I've gone to stats.
Well,
I'm trying to do everything too quickly here. Right, here we go. My list of running backs who was available, and I'm trying to go off memory, but I'm sure it'll come in. So I had above him, Devin Neal and Ollie Gordon were both
Ollie
available.
Gordon. That was Gordon was the one. Yeah. He went on the 6th round, did he not?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. And I get it. You know, I understand the reasons why. Jaden Blue and, you know, there was all the other guys were sort of just floating around. LaQuint Allen, but you could get him at a later round.
Yeah. I was a wee bit gutted that we lost out on him.
And Taj Brooks.
And Taj Brooks, yeah. Taj Brooks, he went to the Saints, did he not?
Let me bring up his file. He went to the Bengals.
Oh, the Bengals. Oh. That's actually quite a good move for them. I'll give them that. That's a good move.
I tell you something the Bengals did as well is they've drafted in the international IPPPP, they've taken a British player.
Oh, what, this year?
Yeah, they took him in the UDFA pool. A guy from Birmingham.
Oh, good for him. Good for him.
Just to add some World's team news in.
Well, it's not technically World's team, but it's still in a national NFL, but it's not part of the Cowboys though. So we'll let that one slide.
It's worldy stuff.
Yeah. Okay, right.
Yeah.
So I've given a B. You've given it a B minus purely for the reasons because of who was still available. Pretty much
because I just had 2 guys higher on the board, but you know, saying that this is my grade. But like they've obviously, I mean, they would have done a deep dive on it because he would have been a Dallas Day, you know, Texas, so they would have had a lot more dealings with him. But what they've done is, so Devin Neal, Ollie Gordon, both good guys, very much different type of running back to Jaden Blue. Yeah. You can see that they're going for explosive and speed.
Yeah.
That's what they've done then. They've overlooked the other 2 guys on my board and just circled right down to. They've gone, no, this guy has the explosiveness and the speed that we want to utilize. We want on this offense. So they're going for that theme in that respect. So you just go, okay.
Yep.
But it fills a big need.
Oh, 100%. And just because he's a 5th rounder, normally a lot of people would associate 5th rounders. Are they going to make it to the roster, etc. He will make the roster 100% based on how the situation with our run game is right now.
Okay.
So
it wouldn't even surprise me if, like, because we got this running back by committee approach and what have you, it wouldn't even surprise me if, like, so theoretically be a starter if you see Jaden Blue come out and take the first snap of a game in one particular week. That he's the RB, essentially he's the RB1 that week.
Possibly. Who knows? We just have to wait and find out.
Yeah. It just depends how they want to scheme it, you know?
Yep. So, okay. So, but also in the 5th round, we made a trade. We gave up 5th and 6th rounds to move up to take Shamar James from, from Florida, the linebacker. I'll be honest, Mike. I didn't really look too much into Shamar James, if I'll be perfectly honest. So you will know more
Yeah.
info about him. So I don't think I'll be able to grade as much as Shamar James from what
It's
I've
not
seen.
Shamar Stewart, unfortunately. That would have been
Uh,
nice. We would have got that jersey, mate.
well, I would have got the jersey. So,
That would have been so much fun.
but yeah. So from what I've seen of Shamar James, there was a couple of wee loopholes that I saw a bit in terms of responsiveness, in terms of reading the plays, can be that little bit like
Yeah.
off a second slow to react. That's the only thing I noticed. But other than that, in terms of his tackling skills, seem to be really good. So, but other than that, but you know more about Shamar James than I do. So hit me with it, Mike.
Yeah. I mean, so he's definitely just like a react type guy. More than anything, he's a run stopping linebacker. That's what this guy is. Very typically, that run stopping off ball linebacker we see in today's NFL. So it kind of like looks a bit odd sometimes. You're like, but that's just the way it's gone. Not bad at coverage. He's not that bad at coverage because he's got a bit of speed to him, but uh, he's fluid to the ball. His issues are just a lack of instincts. He does lack instincts, and you talk about athleticism and speed. You do see him slow to catch up to these guys.
Yeah.
And that is something that is you say about tackling. His tackling technique does need a little bit of work. It's not bad, just
Yeah.
sometimes he'll fall off tackles. But it's more the processing and the instincts. I think what this pick is all about is it's leaning towards trying to help in stop the run, because he's mostly a run stopping linebacker more than anything. That's what they're going to use him for. But it's also covering them while they wait for overshow.
Yeah, exactly. Because obviously we brought in Kenneth Murray, brought in
Yeah.
Jack Sanborn, which I love.
Mm.
And we've got Maris Lauerfoot and Damon Clark. And obviously, as you mentioned, we've got DeMarvin Overshawn, who will return at some point this season, this upcoming season. Whether it's start or halfway through, we don't know. We don't know an estimate yet. We even spoke to Mickey Spagnola about that. There's no significant time frame on that yet. So, but just to kind of read out, like he had 166 tackles, 11.5 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 4 pass deflections, and an interception. And he's likely going to be a backup to, and also be a core special teams contribution.
Definitely special teams, yeah.
And with likes of having Matt Elberfus as our defensive coordinator, who has been fundamental as a linebackers coach in the past.
Yeah.
This could be something that we can probably get the best out of, like Shamar James. Who knows?
And Shamar James has as well. I had to go and check it. He does have quite a lot of extensive experience playing special teams. And this dude as well, when he's playing special teams, he's had to take on guys like twice his size. And because he's just got this fearless physical mentality to him, he's just like, he just wants to tear everything apart. That's just the type of guy he is.
Mentality. That's the other theme.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But this again is he's a high character guy. Does come with medical red flags. But the good thing is the medical red flags, unlike with
Siobhan Reveal.
Yeah, with Siobhan Reveal. James has happened not last year, the year before, and it's 2024. There wasn't you didn't really see any of the issues. So you'd like to think that
He got over it.
Yeah, and the surgery he had as well in the off season doesn't seem to have affected him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't mind the pick. I like it because linebacker is somewhere that needs retooling. It needs people. It needs special teamers, certainly, because Cowboys lost a number of special teamers this year.
That's
so
true.
they need to fill that up. James fills the role. And a 5th round pick, mate, after like 150, you're kind of just like, yeah, go for it. That's the type of guy where you're picking, yeah.
All right, then. Well, hit me with your grade on Shamar James then.
doesn't scare you. Instincts is bad, and processing speed. But he's physical. He's a puncher. He's a run stopper, which the Cowboys are desperate for. So that fills a need. So for me at this stage, let's go B- again.
B-. All right. Okay. Obviously, I won't grade on it because like I said, I don't know too much about Shamar James, but it is a need we needed. Even add more to the special teams, which is great because obviously we don't have boldest anymore. We've got a new special teams coordinator, so we've got that. But moving on to the 6th round, the Dallas Cowboys double dip an offensive line by selecting Ajani Cornelius, offensive line from Oregon. Wow. Okay, that was a nice surprise also. Like, he has been deemed to play guard. I believe he has played tackle as well.
Yes.
And he's played on the right side. So we're adding more competition to the right-hand side of the offensive line, which is needed. It is needed. So he played 50 games at Rhode Island and at Oregon at right tackle, but he could move to guard. The Cowboys, like, this is based on ESPN's evaluation. The Cowboys want to be physical, and that's the style of play, but it does need some work. But yeah, so it seems to be like we're just stocking up in terms of just bringing more competition to this offensive line. And for a 6th round pick, what more can you ask for, really?
Yeah, definitely. But but it's up to the Cowboys really what they want to do. If they do want to move him to guard, the move to guard is more because of his size, arm length and wingspan and hand size is all very, very small. Like 33-inch arms, which for an offensive tackle is small, but it's on the right. So you kind of can get away with it a little bit there.
Yeah.
I just wonder is this pick like they're trying to push Terrence Steele. So it's like we're getting guys in here to compete. They are going to push this right tackle position.
Well, here's the question, Mike. Who is the backup to Terrence Steele?
True. I mean, like you could play some different options at right tackle.
But I mean, more of a solidified backup, like someone.
I know what you're saying, because Matt Maletsko could be one, but what's he done? Do you know what I mean? He's never really moved anything. You have Nathan Thomas, which could be interesting, but now what you're doing is you're creating a battle on that right tackle side for the backup and to try and push Terrence Steele up and get him back to what he had, that first year when he was just demolishing everything.
Yeah. No, I think it was the second season.
Second season, yeah.
It was the second season where he really stepped it up and really was a force.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, I'm just going to go straight to it. I'm going to give this a solid B+.
Yeah. Yeah. Down offensive line. How can I not? I like the size. I like the strength, physicality, good pass blocker. Very typical frame for an offensive lineman, that size and build. And here's the thing is that both, so he was in the Power 5 at Oregon, and had to go up against some real stiff NFL competition over there. Held up fine. Did it.
Yep.
He proved to you against some of these guys he can hold up. He also did it in the Senior Bowl. We've seen him in the Senior Bowl, actually. I can remember, and I was like, who's this guy from Oregon? And I had to go and look into him more.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree with you. I mean, it's like you're saying, we're just leveling up the competition here. Like, we've got a new offensive coordinator, a new offensive line coach, and Conor Riley. Like, we want to bring as many options to the table and just make everyone really fight for their place.
Yeah.
And that's what you want.
For me, I mean, I'm going with you. B+, right, Paul? But again, the theme, Booker, and then you go with this pick. And like with Jaden Blue that happened before him. I'm just looking at this, I'm going, they are committing to they're committing to the run game. They are looking for aggressive run blockers right now with physicality, strength. Cornelius literally lands into that wheelhouse perfectly.
Yeah, I totally agree.
with that theme. B+ all around.
Yep, 100%. So
Yeah.
next pick, I really like this pick, Mike. I really do like this pick. So in round 7 at 217, you don't really expect much in round 7. But I think for what we got in terms of the type of player and what he brings to the table, it's going to be a bit of a shock factor in some regard, especially to one particular Mazzy Smith. As we brought in Jay Toya, defensive tackle from UCLA. Three-year starter at UCLA, absolute run stopper, could eat up those double team blocks and eat up some space. And he does have some pass rush abilities as well, with 19 pressures last season and with 3 sacks.
Yeah. And this is the crazy bit. 344 pounds. That is a man who you are going to struggle to move. He's a third of a ton.
And here's the interesting fact as well. He's a former rugby player as well.
Yeah. Ironically, Jerry Jones said something. Or who was it? It wasn't Jerry Jones. They said something, and they said like, "Oh, this is a guy who could help us with the tush push," and I was like, "Oh no."
Well, in some way, he's telling the truth.
In the opposite way.
Yeah. Like to stop the tush push from moving any advantage, he like put Toya right in there at the nose at the 0 or the 1 position. So
just
hit the
an
A gap.
absolute boss. This guy. I mean, 2 gaps the hell out of it. Just hard to dislodge, but he has all this just insane lower body strength, and you're just looking at it like going, how are you supposed to move this guy? I'm with you. I think this is a great pick. Helps with Mazzy. You've got rotation they needed to fill with a 1-tech/nose tackle to do something more. Like, he's an intelligent player as well, right? He's just not all brawn. He's got brains. He can see what's coming. He'll diagnose the play, look at what blocking is ahead of him, and be able to react to it effectively and correctly. And here's another thing, Paul. Here's something else I found out, that in UCLA, all of the coaches and the players loved him.
Yep. He
Talking
seems
about
to be
character
again. Character is the theme here. We want to build a team that's all based on the character, the same mindset to really drive. And if coaches love him, if teammates love this guy, then that's the way it's kind of going forward. We're not having much bravados and much basically any negativity sayers within the team as much. So there's definitely going to be a culture change for sure, and I'm happy with that 100%. Just a wee fun fact as well. This was the pick where we got back from the New England Patriots with the Joe Milton trade.
Yeah. So, and there's as well family history with Toya. That there's family with him in football. He's got family who've been in college, in the NFL. So the bloodlines are all there. I'm trying to think where it was. I think he was in the Shrine Bowl, but he didn't do much, if I remember. But I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I might be wrong. Forget what I'm saying there. I think he was at the Shrine Bowl, is what I'm thinking of. But he wasn't able to put together much. But I don't think a lot of that was on him. I think it was more of what was going on around him. But in UCLA, they have said, the coaches and the players, and they're like, look, this dude will put his body on the line for us. That he will go out there, and he's not interested in padding his stats to get better results. Like if he's got to go and push in and take on this block, knowing that he's not going to get the tackle or the sack, he will sacrifice that for the better for the team.
Yeah, and what I thought was quite interesting, we saw the video of Jay getting drafted, and very calm demeanor, Like he was telling his family, it's basically they kind of hushed down on him on the phone, and he's like, "Yes, sir," very respectful. Like
Yeah.
it seems like he's got that silent assassin, like great personality, very well understanding on the field. But when it comes to when he's actually on the field, he could be an absolute badass. Like, but then again, like just remember, this is a 7th-round pick. We're not expecting him to start. Like we're still expecting Mazzy to be.
I don't. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
let me
Go on. Yeah.
like based on like the semantics of it, with Mazzy being a first-round pick, you expect him to take the next level up and try and improve. But for a 7th-rounder to really come in guns blazing and really make like really tough decisions for the Cowboys coaching staff, this is a guy you could probably do that. Like it's like, oh, Mazzy, you're getting beat by a 7th-rounder to really basically try and light a fire up his butt.
Yeah, definitely. I'm with you there. And you say it's 7th round, and you don't think he'll be a start. I don't think start, but I think he makes the final 53. Mostly that this is a run stuffing nose tackle because of the type of player you are and how you're going to utilize him. It's not seen as a high price. He's not getting sacks. He's not doing the sexy stuff that you want. He's doing more of the dirty work. So that's where you tend to find these guys late on day 3.
Yeah.
So Tyre for me fits so many. He ticks so many boxes. For me, this is a B+. Not because it's not bad value, not because it's bad player and doesn't fit. It's just mostly that you're bringing him here in for one thing and one thing only, and that's it, really.
Yeah, well, for me, I'm going with a solid A- on this one.
I like it. Yeah,
I'm
we're
going for
not
an
that far
A-.
apart, but yeah,
we're basically one grade away from each other. So yeah, I went with an A- on this one.
My next one is much higher. So
oh yeah, we both reacted like and we actually had a special guest on the UK Cowboys fans show doing that. Our good friend J Tuck, who was at the draft reporting for CFO Sports,
correct,
and we broke it like right in front of him. We were like, no way, we got him. So yes, we ended up on round 7 at pick 239. We picked up Phil Maffa, running back, Clemson. We did double and running back,
which is wild. I mean, like we were hoping to get one. We did say, there's a chance we could get 2. We did do that. I think in one of our mock drafts, we did take 2 running backs.
We did multiple times.
And we took 2 linebackers in a few drafts too. I love this. This is so perfect. If Martha ends up sticking around for a long time, which I hope he will, and this is how we put it on the live show with Jaden Blue. You have essentially right now you have a rookie Thunder and Lightning.
Yeah,
that's what you have.
Absolutely. Lightning being Blue and the Thunder being Maffa, 100%. Like, I mean, he finished his career with over nearly 3,000 yards with 28 touchdowns and 14 starts last year. He was over 1,000 yards with 8 touchdowns. Backfield with Blue, Maffa, Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, Deuce Vaughn and Malik Davis.
Mm-hmm.
We're likely going to have 4 tailbacks, so it's going to raise a lot of more competition for this offense.
Yeah,
like
so. I think Miles Sanders is about to walk out the door.
I don't know. Like if what Sanders says is true and Schottenheimer says he has plans for him, then it's really on Sanders to deliver that promise, really. So it's really on Sanders to really outshine the likes of Deuce Vaughn and Malik Davis. So I'm more worried about Deuce Vaughn and Malik Davis, more so Deuce Vaughn, because, great story, how we drafted him, etc. His dad works for the Cowboys, etc. But does that really now fit into the narrative of what we're trying to do now with this type of offense going forward?
Yeah. I worry. Not worry. Well, okay, let's say worry. I just worry with Miles Sanders fits in it. Deuce Vaughn, I think they're still trying to figure out. I think
it's been 2 years, mate.
I know.
It's been 2 years now.
And what you do with a guy who's 5'5" in the NFL, I get it.
I don't think it's necessarily his height and stuff. I think it's
the size.
I don't think it is. I think it's just different qualities these running backs bring to the table, and it's what they're more looking for.
Yeah.
Like it's physicality. This isn't really the most physical type of running back. Like, yeah, he can take on the tackle, yeah, but he'd be much more easier to wrap up, I would imagine. Easier to bring down.
He's going to be easy to bring down. But
So
not easy to bring down is Phil Maffer, because he is a bulldozer. Now, what was the one thing all Cowboys fans had an issue with last season? It was the red zone, especially when we were like on the short. So 5 yards or
like
less.
3rd and 5 from the end zone, all that type of stuff.
Wild.
Yep. Like really short yardage. We couldn't even gain an inch.
Real short. Like, yeah. I mean, like, and we've seen as well the year before, Tony Pollard. You know, he's at the 6 yard line. He's trying to get around the edge to score a touchdown. He ends up going backwards. You know, we've seen this time again. Phil Maffer, on the other hand, there's your guy. Red zone demon.
And just to add as well, Mike, go back to the Tyler Booker pick. Go back to that. It all connects.
Yeah. I mean, like, his short yardage, goal line guy. This is your guy. He scored 4 touchdowns in one game. I went and checked this. They were all inside the 10-yard line. All 4. That because this guy is a short yardage guy. He's not going to burst away. But the Cowboys have got that bursty guy. What Phil Maffer is the guy you have to come in and do the bulldozing. He clears the path. He smashes it around. Don't forget, right, you know, of the names you mentioned then, right, Paul? You've got Javonte Williams, who's going to be kind of your workhorse. He's going to be a multifaceted type guy. But Phil Maffer brings you a level of physicality, but also so does Hunter Lipke. So you have these 2 different guys who can offer you 2 different options to really punch that ball.
Yeah, totally. So how would you grade the Phil Maffer pick, Mike?
This, for me, not minus or plus, it's an A. A because he is talented. He's coming in behind what the Cowboys have already put together in this draft. And at the 7th, so it's their second to last pick, their penultimate pick, and you get a guy who's this productive at Clemson. And like he was at Clemson in 2023 when they were really struggling, and Maffer just kept going. He kept trying to do his thing. He knows how to play in the committee. He's behind this offensive line. He's not going to be the guy, but he's part of the mix who has an absolutely fantastic skill set the Cowboys can use.
Yep, definitely. And finally, on to our. Well,
what was your grade? Is your grade an A as well?
My grade was an A as well.
Okay,
yep.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yep. So finally, with the last pick of the draft at round 7, 247th overall, the Dallas Cowboys select Tommy Akinbisote from Maryland, defensive tackle. So again, we double dip in D tackle, but the difference is he's more of a free tech.
Yeah, I mean, I know you love like the defensive line, the trenches there. So give me yours, and then I'll give you mine.
Okay, I think like again, this is going back with the whole theme: high motor. It's like he can establish a position against blockers, but he struggles with his balance. That's the only thing. Like he's got like a 10.9 pass rush win rate, which is quite decent, but because of his athleticism, that's why he kind of fell down to like the really late rounds. So we're not expecting a lot from him, but him being like a good backup to like Osa, Solomon Thomas, etc. It's a valuable pickup, I will say. It's not the best pick by the Cowboys. I would say this is probably the least graded, I would say.
Yeah,
in terms
I'm with you there. I'm with you
in this regard. So, but he can bring something to the table. Will he make the 53-man roster? Maybe.
I don't think he
does. I don't think so. But there is a chance, just depending how things work out. Will he make the practice squad? I definitely think he will make that.
There's a chance he could make the practice squad. Yeah, I mean that makes more sense than a fine for free. For me, it's production, and um, that's my biggest issue with him. Is that you look at it in the last
Bear in
his
mind,
last.
he's a backup. He
I
was a
know.
backup.
I know that's what I mean, but like he's a backup, so production's going to be an issue. So he's a backup in college. He's really, if you're going up to the NFL, you expect him to be a backup still. But you're looking at a guy with 60 tackles and 2 sacks in just 2 years.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing really much else we can really say about Tommy, but it'd just be very interesting to see how we do on that. But yes, but yeah, let's get off
Grade that one.
Yep,
Grade that
final
one.
grade. Yep.
No, what's your grade for Tommy?
I'm gonna give this a straight up C.
Yeah, I had a C plus. Production is what scares me, but he's your last pick. You know, Dallas Cowboys are picking like what 10 picks before the end of the draft before Mr. Irrelevant. So it's kind of like, yeah, just shoot whatever, you know, just get a guy, whatever you want to go
Yeah.
for. And let's
Yeah.
see what you can put together. I don't mind. So it's not like it's an F or a D. It's
Yeah.
like C plus because you're just like, yeah, whatever. It's the last pick.
Yeah.
And then yeah.
I mean, for me, like if it was me, like even getting like an X type receiver,
Yeah.
would have been made more sense, even though
Another
maybe
linebacker,
another linebacker, cornerback.
Yeah, I'm with you
Yeah, like
there.
I would have been much more happier. I probably would have treated that a bit better in that
True.
regard in terms of
True.
position of need. But overall, though, Mike, would you grade the overall Dallas Cowboys 2025 NFL Draft?
A minus is what I've given it.
I'm the exact same. A minus.
Just that, like, it was a very. And we said this before, and J-Tech agreed with us too when we said this. That to me, this has all the fingerprints all over it of just Will McClay. That they've sat down with Schottenheimer, Jerry. This is what I'm talking about now. Jerry and Stephen. They've sat there and they've gone, "What do you want to do?" And he's gone, "All I'm after is this." And they've gone to Will McClay and they've gone, "Listen, what Schottenheimer's looking to do is this: draft us those guys the best way all this fits together." And they've just left him to it. This is a Will McClay draft.
100%. Like, and we kind of knew after that second round, like after the Donovan pick, we knew we're not going to be drafting a wide receiver. We knew that.
No, yeah, that was it from done. And I think on day 2, when we got there,
after the Higgins and Jalen Noe, the 2 Iowa State guys went off the board, that was it.
Saying it. We were saying it. We were like,
that was
not
it.
getting one. Yeah.
Yeah, because any guys after that, there wasn't really much of a X-type wide receiver that can contribute from day one type of thing. They would be more of a backup in some regard.
And all these guys need to be better than what you've already got in your roster. Because if they're not better, you're just chucking them in with this group of guys you've already got. What use is that? You know?
And again, and then we said this right after the draft was finished. It's like, in comes the question marks now. Are we going to bring in the likes of an experienced X-type wide receiver? Are we going to bring in the likes of Keenan Allen? Are we going to bring back Amari Cooper?
Which is there is a lot of momentum on that right now.
And I can totally get it why, because like to me, I would bring back Amari Cooper personally, for me, because he's worked with that.
It's not going to cost too much.
He'll be cheaper than Keenan Allen. Put it that way.
I think so. Hell yeah.
One, he's cheaper than Keenan Allen. 2, he's younger. 3, he's actually worked with Dak Prescott and he's worked with like CD Lamb briefly before. That to me makes more sense. And just bring him back home. We just found out it was more Mike McCarthy It was more Mike McCarthy that wanted Amari Cooper to be offloaded rather than Jerry Jones.
Yeah,
Jerry Jones.
That was what I was about to say. You beat me to it there.
Yeah, Jerry Jones wanted to keep Amari Cooper. It was more so on Mike McCarthy. So cheers for that, Mike. But anyway.
No. But yeah. So how about this? What if we do the UDFAs later in the week?
Yes,
We
let's
can
do
talk
that.
about those guys, and we've got more time to research on them, watch some
And
tape on them.
there should be more additional additions.
Exactly. You
Yeah,
you
exactly.
never know
Yeah,
what's going to happen. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
They might do something, or
yeah.
one of those guys they might be gone before we even get there.
Yeah, and well, one thing I will mention about the undrafted free agency as of right now, we have not drafted, well, we're not brought in a quarterback yet because I
True.
believe the rules are, especially for rookie minicamp and stuff like that, you do need to have some type of rookie quarterback there in the building. You cannot use any experienced players to like throw the ball, etc., because
Yeah.
that would be deemed as someone that's actually currently on the roster
There
participating.
are sneaky ways around it too. Like
Yeah,
they can get like they've done before. They can get like a guy from the XFL, bring him in, and then he's gone by the end of it. Or guy off the street. That they're just like, like, who's this guy? And you're just like, oh, we know what that's about.
yeah. There we go. So, and that's probably what will likely happen. UFL, the XFL, whatever you want to call it
Yeah,
nowadays.
USFL, whatever. Yeah,
I think it's just called the UFL now.
yeah,
But it's
yeah.
actually some good football games that happened the other day. San Antonio versus Dallas was the other day there. I believe it was. That was actually quite a decent game.
Yeah.
But yes, folks, that is our. I can't even talk now.
Yeah.
That is the end of this week's episode. Obviously, the big news for the World's team, we have joined the Believe Network.
Yes.
So there's going to be a couple of changes on the show. Obviously, the graphics are going to change again, and obviously, we're going to be doing a bit more ad reads and stuff like that. So, but yes, without saying that, we need to give our ad read and big
I
shout
did
out
send
to.
you a reminder.
Yep, a big shout out to our sponsor, Cowboys Experience. So, while that ad's on, we will see you on the other side, folks.
The World's Team Podcast is brought to you by Cowboys Experience, the ultimate Cowboys experience with stadium tours, meet and greets, tailgating, game tickets, and much more. For more information, please go to www.cowboysexperience.com.
Yeah, be sure to check out cowboysexperience.com. Be sure to use the discount code WorldsTeam2025. Me and Mike, and among with all the UK Cowboys fans, are going over for the Thanksgiving game. So if you're in Dallas for Thanksgiving this year, come over and say hello. We're going to be at the Cowboys Experience meet and greet meeting with some current players and some former players. So we'll be there. We'll be conducting interviews with fans and lots of other stuff right live in Dallas. So yes, obviously that we kind of mentioned that we're now joined the Believe Network. We're going to be changing the format ever so slightly. It's not going to be like once a week. We are going to be more reactive in a way. We're going to be doing shows where it's going to be more instant, where we're going to be like doing shows more on a regular occurrence, maybe twice a week, maybe even 3. But yes, folks, we are absolutely honored and thrilled to be joining the Believe Network, where you can find likes of podcasts by Phil Simms, who represents the New York Giants, Jesse Hawley, as you know, who's on Hanging with the Boys. He does the Believe in Cowboys podcast there, and Jeff Kavanagh as well. And our good friend Lon Nation has also joined the Believe Network as well. So be sure to go and check it out, folks. And it'll be on www.believe.com. Be sure to go and check it out. We will be featured on that in the coming weeks. And but yes, folks, stay tuned for that. But yes, Mike, before we do finish off, please tell everyone where everyone can find you.
You can find me on Twitter or X at Kenfig Cowboy. That's Kenfig with a K, Cowboy with a K. And you, Mr. P.
You can find me at IMP2 on X and Instagram. Yes, folks, that's it. We will be back next week. Hopefully, we'll be under the new design and format, and we'll just kind of see how things go from there. You just have to wait and see what happens to it. So, but yes, folks, until next time, we will see you And like as always here on the World's Team, it's not just America's team, it is the World's Team. See you guys next time.
You've been listening to the World's Team Podcast. There's no other team like it in the world. Nothing more electrifying than the Dallas Cowboys. And we're here to prove it. We bring in fan groups from Germany, France, Brazil, the UK, Canada, Japan. We're everywhere, baby. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find us on Instagram at the.worlds.team, on Twitter at _worlds_team, and on YouTube at the World's Team. How about them Cowboys?
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
See you next time.